All right, well, welcome back, folks. This is University of Michigan against Western Michigan University in men's ice hockey. Tonight, October 28th, you are listening to WCBN Sports live here on YouTube. The first period has just begun. We're about 1 minute in now as we see the Wolverines controlling the puck in the offensive zone. Now, for those of you at home listening on the radio, imagine that on the right side of the radio is the Wolverines' offensive zone, or Western Michigan's defensive end, and on the left is the Wolverines' defensive end. Now, here we see with the puck going into the offensive zone, McGroarty for the Wolverines, a freshman from Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of new faces on this team. Here we are. All right. Wolverines now controlling the puck in the offensive zone. He's at the blue line, but Edwards, whiffs on that. Casey now bring it in, number 28. Wolverines faring pretty well in the wake of the departure of a couple of their key players up to the NHL. Now we see Western on the near side. Larkin going in. Puck's at the bottom of the near circle. That's a shot that gets blocked by the forward Marcus Stoppa, picked up by Hallam for the Wolverines. Now, crossing on the far side, cross his own blue line, and a stretch pass that is ruled as icing as we get the first stoppage of the game. 18:05 left in the first period, and for those just tuning in, by the way, my name is David Kraemer. I'm joined by Amer Bektas. Remind me, is that the correct way to pronounce your last name?
You got it, my man.
And Neal Sinha, who's coming in next period. I will be on the play-by-play. Amir is going to be on color. We may do a little switch around later on in this game. That icing face-off is won by the Wolverines. A pretty messy draw, though, on the near side. Red circle, left side of the ice. LaPointe now picking it up. Really clever move by Estapa, but it's picked up and brought in to the Broncos' defensive end, where it's picked up as they now cross their own blue line, crossing the center line, as Flip for the Broncos is able to knock it back. I'd say this forecheck is actually pretty impressive already from Western. Certainly not necessarily Western's best team in the past couple of years, at least while I've been here at the university. I'm a senior. I've seen a couple of pretty big performances out of them here at Yost, but you could say the same for the Wolverines, who, as I mentioned earlier, are lacking some of that top-level talent on their top couple lines. So now we see the puck being brought in by Poulin, and that's going to be ruled an offsides.
Yeah, and Western Michigan Broncos coming in for a non-conference game. Typically, the Wolverines and the Broncos will face off early on in the season. Tonight here at Yost. Tomorrow night they'll head over to Kalamazoo for a matchup in Lawson. But earlier on this week, both coaches were asked, does this game have a little bit of an extra edge since Michigan had to back out of the GLI?
Certainly.
And, Western's players said, we do circle this game. They want to play Michigan. They want to play one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's certainly, especially on the eve of another in-state matchup, which will be covered by WCBN, the Michigan versus Michigan State football game tomorrow evening. So tune in to that for sure. And now we see the Wolverines in the offensive zone. That's a nice shot that is blocked from just on the far top circle. And we're going to see the Wolverines still control that. Another shot going just beyond the goal from Casey, the defenseman for Michigan. Puck is still held in, but now it's going to be retrieved by Western. But another turnover for Western, a pretty tired defensive core. They're going to try and knock that out, even accept the icing if necessary. Portillo now edging out of his goal to pass it to his teammate. Wolverines netminder is a junior this season and has been exceptional, a revelation in net the past 2 seasons. Larkin now with a really nice drop pass, and the first goal of the game, an incredible transition play. The Western Michigan Broncos are up 1-0 off of a really nice one-timer from Dylan Wendt, the sophomore from Grand Haven, Michigan.
Yeah, what a fantastic finish by Dylan Went right there. A nice little, it was a 3-on-2 for the Broncos. Backdoor, Dylan Went gets it behind Eric Portillo, giving Western Michigan a 1-0 lead. It's exactly what you want to do as an away team coming into what is typically a hostile environment.
Certainly.
In Yost, fans are still trickling in. It's all, fans are all the way up into the standing only section, so it should be a good one.
Certainly.
I'm hearing that traffic's kind of bad outside, so it's kind of tough to find parking.
Yeah.
It's an in-state rivalry, Michigan versus Western on the
brown
ice tonight.
jerseys in this arena.
Yeah, you hop on I-94, you make it down to Ann Arbor, a little hour and a half drive.
Yeah.
Not too bad. And, their Broncos are up 1-0, 15:35 left.
Yeah, Wolverines going to look to capitalize on their scoring prowess right now and try and prevent the Broncos from setting a tone, setting a pretty dark tone here. And now we see a potential breakaway move. A really nice play by the forward for the Wolverines. We see Hughes now, not Luke. The other Hughes here on Michigan's roster, a freshman, TJ Hughes, unrelated, a Canadian, not an American. Luke Hughes, though, the defenseman, the sophomore now, really playing some great hockey so far this season. Nolan Moyle with a really nice backhand shot right on the doorstep, but that is shut down by the netminder for Western Michigan. And another shot, and the Wolverines get their first goal of the game. The score is 1-1. We're going to see the replay to get a confirmation on who scored that, but it looks like it Hallam. All right, Jackson Hallam, the freshman from Eagan, Minnesota, played on Dubuque's USHL team. Wow, that was, exactly what you want to do, Amer, if you are down 1-0 this early in the first period at home. Yeah, that's picture perfect.
Yeah, good play by Jackson Hallam right there. To follow the puck. He didn't get the initial shot, but he got that ricochet goal to put it into the net, tying this up at 1, and that's exactly what you want to do. The crowd got a little quiet after Dylan Went scored the first goal for the Broncos, but the children of Yost are back up and alive. We're all tied up at 1. And, there's a lot on the line for this game.
Yeah, so we're going to see a challenge now. So the referees, for those who aren't familiar, just tuning in, of course the Wolverines just scored. The game is now tied 1-1, but Western Michigan's coach, their head coach, Pat Ferschweiler, who's in his second year, had a pretty good showing last season, has just challenged this first goal. And that was a goal coming off of a pretty messy kind of block shot.
I think he's trying to challenge goaltender interference. Nolan Moyle was in the crease of the netminder, so should be a pretty quick call. Referees are still in the booth taking a look at it.
That is no thanks in part, regardless of what this call is, to some really dedicated video and assistant support staff for both of these teams. I think it goes kind of unsaid in a lot of sports just how important support staff are to the success of a team, whether that is like the late Ian Hume, who got a really nice moment of silence, a long-time trainer and support staff for the University of Michigan men's ice hockey team, who passed earlier this week, or other assistant coaches who are monitoring those videos and looking to see for any issues like a goaltender interference, a potential offsides in the 30 seconds or so that you have to challenge a goal.
So the one thing is when you're challenging these plays, people that that usually run the video board, typically if it's
call on the ice stands.
Yeah, and
that's a good goal.
Seeing how many times they played it on the video board, it looked like a good goal. And, the people that are in charge of the video board won't, show a play that often if it goes against the home team. So to see that, on and on replay up top, you knew it was a good goal. But in net for the Broncos tonight is Cameron Rowe. He's a junior transfer from Wisconsin. So, another Big Ten goalie playing for Western Michigan.
Yes, and one more thing of note. Ooh, that's a really close shot by Gallant, the forward for Western, as they control the puck now in Michigan's defensive end. Picked up by Michigan off a turnover. Dylan Duke is heading towards to knock that puck in. Sam Miskevich now in a foot race. Could have been an offsides, but it's ruled. It is not ruled as an offsides. And that's going to be a stoppage of play after Western's goaltender, Cameron Rowe, stops that puck and holds it in his crease. So one thing of note, interestingly enough, is when, Amer, when you, as a coach in the National Hockey League, challenge a play and you're unsuccessul, you actually get a minor 2-minute penalty.
Yeah.
So you are incentivized actually here in Big Ten hockey, or at least in Division I men's ice hockey, there is no punishment or penalty, rather, for making those calls. So you are only hurting yourself as a coach and as a team if you see a play like that, that could go both ways. So Western now controls their puck here in their defensive end. Cross-ice pass, but the Wolverines have some pretty good neutral zone defense. See, that's picked up. Now controlled, Wolverines control it. Luke Hughes skating with those big legs of his. He towers over a lot of his fellow teammates, not like Owen Power did. Holtz now for the Wolverines. Seeing a little behind the net action. A couple brown jerseys, a couple white jerseys behind the Wolverines net. Portillo looking to make sure nothing gets past him, as now that puck is brought up to the defensive, or to the blue line, where Galambos now controls it at the neutral, at the halfway mark. So Wolverines still hemmed in their defensive end. Couple big hits there. That's a shot from the point by Fielder. Goes just wide to the left of the net. And now we're going to see a potential change. Now the Wolverines might catch the Broncos on a change. McGarty there for the Wolverines gets it knocked away. It's held at the blue line. Pearson turning it over to McAllister. McAllister now skating near side, looking to make a similar play to the one that got them their first goal. Potential one-timing pass. That's picked up by Luke Hughes, who passes it out of the ice, and a lucky fan gets that puck. Luckily no head or any other injuries there. Got to look out for that. There's no netting in the middle section of the rink, only at each end. So we're going to see now a neutral zone faceoff. A lucky young fan collecting that puck, showing it to the crowd, getting some cheers. Now we see this faceoff as there's some crowd noises and some disagreement.
Yeah, you got the two players on the outside of the center circle, just pushing a little bit back and forth, trying to get under each other's skin early on. These teams don't like each other, especially after last year when Michigan had to pull out of the GLI. Talked to the Michigan coaching staff earlier this week, and they still stand by their decision that the right decision was made last year. And Western's holding a little bit of a grudge, and they would love to get a victory here tonight.
Ooh, almost a really risky turnover. Hughes is going to want that one back.
Yeah, Michigan's kind of
nothing happened from there. Fantinelli, excuse me.
Yeah, even though they got one goal to start tonight and they're all tied up at one, Michigan's really, they're kind of slow off the puck tonight. Not everything is as crisp. Passes are kind of behind each other, but they're going to have to clean it up quickly because Western Michigan's one of those teams that can score quick.
Face-off one by Western. Shot coming, knocked aside from the blue line. Larkin now for Western, controlling that puck behind Michigan's net. Now Western, a pass that goes straight through the crease. Went was hungry for it, but that's picked up by Sam Miskevich, who is putting the burners on. Sam Miskevich coming up the near side, looking to turn the puck into a goal, but the netminder, Cameron Rowe, pokes it aside. Now controlled by Casey for the Wolverines, the defenseman. Now knocked aside by the Broncos. Wolverines are still holding on to it. Edwards, though, with the turnover. That's picked up by Aiden Fulp. Fulp now dumping it into the Wolverines' end. Picked up by another Broncos forward. Wash now. Fielder, the defenseman. Shot that goes wide of the net. About 11 minutes left in this first period. A big hit.
Big hit by Adam Fantilli.
Yeah, Western is not backing down right now. This is a really even game so far. A couple players on the ice now. Edwards, Mask, Samaskevich, Wash. Casey gets knocked aside. That's picked up by Wolverines. Shot coming from the point. Western goes for a change. Samaskevich now for the Wolverines also looking to make a change. That puck gets knocked into the air, but caught by a Western defenseman. Hughes now, and Truss got in a foot race with Pullen. Pullen now, really nice opportunity to pass it. Western gets some offensive pressure going, but Ciccolini dumps that puck into the offensive zone, chases it, picks it up behind Western's net, gets knocked down, is falling over. That's picked up in a point shot from Truss. Got it, almost an incredible goal, but an even better save by the netminder Rowe.
Really good save by him,
Wow.
kick save.
Yeah, almost an offsides. That's Keenan Draper, the freshman for the Wolverines, who's keeping that puck in the offensive zone. Really the one-man wrecking ball right there. Really impressive play. Poulin now knocks that puck out, almost goes into the bench, but now Luke Hughes now picking it up. Looking near side, trying to get that pass off, but it's turned over and it's picked up by Luke Granger. Granger now and Hillebrand for Western. Looks to be an offsides. There's 9:35 left remaining in this first period. The score is 1-1. The shots are also tied, 3 apiece for the Michigan Wolverines and the Western Michigan Broncos. We're going to get some ice to get swept off as we have our first, maybe a TV timeout. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, so this was implemented during back in 2021 season, I believe. During the COVID season, is to speed up the game a little bit. Only time they will have an official stoppage in college hockey is under the 10-minute mark. Gives them a little bit of time to get off all the snow on the ice
and get that ad money too.
Yeah.
No ads here though on WCBN.
We are ad-free, streaming on YouTube tonight.
Yes, supported by you, the fans, as well as the university. So thank you to all our listeners. We really appreciate it. Every listen and viewer counts. So now we're going to see a face-off here at the dot on the near side, closest to the Wolverines' net.
You talked about a little bit earlier about how Michigan had so many players go on to the NHL. Owen Powers, Matty Beniers,
Kent Johnson,
all those guys.
Favorites.
And you look at this recruiting class that Michigan was able to bring in. Adam Fantilli,
incredible.
He's been getting a lot of hype around him.
15 points already in 6 games.
Yeah.
5 goals in 6 games, by the way.
Yeah, so gotta love having him put on the maize and blue. Lots of good talent. And a lot of good upperclassmen, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric Ciccolini really stands out as a lifelong Wolverine, someone who really embodies what it means to be a team-first kind of player.
Yeah, even Nolan Moyle named captain for this season.
Yeah, good to see him get that. I appreciate that the Wolverines, unlike some teams, not just in college hockey, but in sports in general, name not necessarily their highest scoring player as captain, and it has more of a meaning from leadership, whether that is on or off the ice. Now we see Perbix now doing a little move for Western Michigan on the near side in the circle. Gets knocked aside. Fielder now passing it to Gallimard. That is picked up and turned over and collected by Holtz behind his net for Michigan. University of Michigan, that is. Holtz now looking for an outlet pass, but he's getting some pressure from Larkin, who's standing between him and the netminder for the Wolverines. It's a pass that's picked up and brought in by Moyle, the captain, as you just mentioned. But it is caught and knocked down. It's a big hit that you could probably hear. Holtz now gets turned over, picked up by Perbix. Perbix to Larkin from Went. Fantilli, who we were mentioning earlier. In fact, there's actually 2 Fantillis on this roster. Luca and his brother Adam, a defenseman and a forward, respectively. And that's a shot from the second brother, the highest scoring Fantilli on this team, Adam. Wolverines control this puck in the offensive zone as we're going to get a whistle. What will that be? Well, I think I saw Eric Portillo heading to the net, and you know what that means. This could be a power play for the University of Michigan. Slashing. All right, 2 minutes now. Wolverines on the clock. You think we're going to get a goal out of this?
I think so. So I came to practice on Tuesday. You know, they were practicing their man advantage, and you know, it looked really smooth. I'm curious to see if they implement any of the stuff that they were practicing, but you know, Wolverines now have their top line out there at the center dot. Adam Fantilli, you mentioned 15 points in just 6 games. The kid is a stud.
Yeah, and TJ Hughes out there too. It's like both Hughes, unrelated of course, are out there.
Got Mackie Samiskevich as well, who's a sophomore. Saw the ice last year, but has really picked up playing time and becoming a core piece to this Wolverine team.
He's always played well for Team USA as well, for those under 18s. Well, we see this power play brought to you here under 7:15 or give or take to go left in this first period. A shot that gets kind of knocked aside. Now Adam Fantilli on the near circle, hovering, looking to make an outlet pass, or not an outlet pass, potentially. We get a shot that's knocked aside by Rowe. And Western dumps that into the Wolverines' defensive end. Portillo, though, here on the near side to Luke Hughes. Both teams make a switch. Granger against Hughes. Hughes with the drop pass. Bradley now to Casey. Casey picking it up, chasing after it. That's Brindley, not Bradley. Excuse me. Luke Hughes now, number 43, really leading this offensive rush. Now, that's a really nice opportunity, a really good turn by Ruder McGroarty, another one of the freshmen from that really good recruiting class. Gavin Brindley. Brindley, cross-ice pass to Seamus Casey. Casey now looking to make a play, potentially get a goal. Crosses right in front of Rowe, the netminder for Western, but isn't able to convert. About 25 seconds left in this power play opportunity. A shot that comes from just outside of both circles by Brindley again. Now we see 15 seconds left on this power play as Western is doing a really good job on this kill.
Yeah, Michigan might get one more chance with less than 8 seconds left.
Okay, we got Brindley to McGroarty. McGroarty, though, gets the puck stripped from him. And that is the end of that power play. The score remains 1-1. We see a nice pass that gets knocked aside as now Western has the puck in the Wolverines' defensive end. And as soon as I said that, it's picked up by Ethan Edwards, who's now bringing the Wolverines on a rush. But that is most definitely an offsides. A little tussle after that play. Well, 5:25 left to go in this first period of Michigan versus Western Michigan University here at Yost Ice Arena in Ann Arbor. The shots are 7-3 in favor of the home team, the Wolverines, and the score is tied at 1 apiece.
Yeah, Wolverines were on the man advantage. Not really any good opportunities. Maybe they're saving that for later on.
I think so too. All right, Estapa now at the face-off against Perbix, the senior for Western. That third line for both teams out there. You know, still a decent amount of time left in this first period, but the closer you get to those intermissions, the more likely you want to play some defensive hockey. There's nothing more demoralizing than going into the dressing room, having gone down a goal in the closing minutes of whatever period you're playing, especially when the score is tied. So the puck is brought in by the Western Michigan Broncos, but it is quickly picked up by one of the Fantilli brothers. Moyle now, the captain, leading this third line out into the offensive zone. Moyle on the far side, looking to make an outlet pass to Estapa, but it's picked up by Western Michigan. Now the Broncos bring it in. That could be Perbix. Perbix, yes, looking to make a pass to Rowe, not the netminder, but the forward. Rowe gets a puck stripped away by Adam Fantilli, but Fulp now messing up at the blue line. Now we see a semi-breakaway. Moyle now, the really neat move by the forward freshman first line center, Adam Fantilli, but nothing comes of it. Luke Hughes now on the near side. The really nice cross-ice pass to Mackie Samiskevich. Samiskevich now leading the charge through 4 Broncos, but it gets stripped away. Now the Broncos Rome dumping that puck in as the Broncos are going to make a change. Both teams now very tired out there. Luke Hughes dumping that puck in, the defenseman for Michigan. The puck is picked up by the netminder Rowe, and it is passed to the captain of the Broncos. The Broncos now
Good
looking to
hit
make a
by
nice
Luke
pass,
Hughes.
but an even better hit. Ciccolini and Samaskevich for Michigan. Both players pretty tired. Forward line for these Wolverines definitely need to make a change. Edwards collecting that puck responsibly. The defenseman really coming into his own this sophomore season. Edwards now on the other side of the ice. They're going to make a really nice power move, Tarasenko-esque. But it gets knocked aside by the Broncos netminder. 3:25 remaining in this first period. The Broncos, as you can tell, maybe a little bit more experience in this Midwest style of play. Lots of heavy hitting. Certainly no Ohio State hockey, that's for sure, but they're really skilled. Really nice shot from between the circle by Granger for Western, but it goes just above the net, not even having to be knocked aside. TJ Hughes now at the pass. Ciccolini picking it up from McGroarty. Ciccolini putting that into the air, skying it as TJ Hughes is trying to make something out of that. Gallant, though, for Western, as they're going to make a change. 2:52 left in this period. Hughes now. Luke, that is. Still out on the ice. Crossing all the way across the blue line into the offensive zone. Now that is held. Nice power move by McGroarty, who shoots that puck, and it almost goes in. Another shot from the Wolverines. 2.5 left in this period. Wolverines, after kind of... Now we see a breakaway for Wendt. Western, a power move, a pass, but nothing comes of it. About 2:20 left. Really nice outless pass to a tired McGroarty, who tips that in, looks to make the change. Western now looking to generate a little bit of offense at the closing minutes of this first period. The Wolverines, though, also looking to get something as both teams are locked in a stalemate. Washington on the near side with the circle. Really nice pass. It gets knocked into the air, but it is knocked aside by the Wolverines. Kept at the blue line. Really good move. And a shot with the backhand that gets knocked aside by Portillo. 1:40 left in this first period of hockey. The score is still 1-1. Estapa now, a calming presence at third line center for the Wolverines. Holtz gets a puck stripped. The Broncos are now looking to get that goal. Berger, and almost a goal. How did they not put that in? Portillo really getting bailed out by some pretty clumsy offensive moves in the Wolverines' defensive end. A really good scoring chance, arguably better than that first goal that they had for the Broncos, but the Wolverines are able to keep that out of the net. Some ugly defensive play there.
Yeah, Portillo did not have a stick. Western Michigan with the player at the top of the crease. Wide open net. Cannot put it in the back of the net, and the puck just ends up somehow underneath Portillo.
Now an offensive shot, or a shot from the Broncos. We're approaching the 1 minute mark. They hold it at the offensive blue line, looking to make a goal, looking to get something done. Another shot from the blue line. As the Broncos are cycling, the Wolverines are pretty tired out there, weren't able to make a change. 1 minute remaining in this first period of college hockey. The puck is between a flurry of brown and white jerseys. Samaskevich, though, for the Wolverines coming out with it. Now on the break, crosses the blue line, but turns it over as we see McAllister coming up for the Broncos, tries to make a nice move, but can't get around Truscott to Samaskevich. Samaskevich with an outlet pass to Luke Hughes, who's putting the heat on. Really pretty spin move that he makes, and a really good pass, but it gets tipped aside by the Broncos. Now we see a shot. That may have been Samaskevich, or TJ Hughes, excuse me. Some good defense by Luke Hughes. Hillebrand with the shot. Another puck that gets bounced around. And now we see some roughing between both teams. McGroarty against Hillebrand was that. Yeah, Chad Hillebrand, the junior from my home state, Park Ridge, Illinois. This season so far, no points. And in his 39 games for Western Michigan hockey, he has 10. 3 goals. 7 assists. 6'4", 200 pounds. Wouldn't want to be getting into a fight with him. And now he's head to the penalty box.
Yep. Both players will go to the penalty box.
Wow.
No, Hillebrand going into Portillo, and then Gavin Brindley just trying to get him off, and a little bit of extra juice from both players. back and forth. They'll end up in the penalty box, but we'll finish this period with 4-on-4 hockey.
Yeah, 11 seconds left in this first period. So far tied 1-1. Shots are almost the same. Wolverines having outshot Western 9-8. Estapa now. 3 seconds left. Wolverines knock that puck in as we see this first period come to the close. Well, that's all for the first period, folks. For those just tuning in or heading out during this intermission, the Wolverines are tied against the Western Michigan Broncos 1-1 here in Ann Arbor. The shots are 9-8. Wolverines leading that category. And when you return, we'll see some more 4-on-4 hockey. There's a little bit of roughing and disagreement here in those closing seconds of this first period. So, in about 12 or so minutes, we will see you back after a break. And until then, thank you so much for listening. This is WCBN Radio on YouTube.
and welcome back to WCBN's live coverage of Michigan hockey. My name is Neal Sinha. I'll be doing play-by-play for this second period. I'm alongside David Kraemer, and he'll be doing the color commentary. And David, we got a 1-1 game here between the University of Michigan Wolverines and the Western Michigan Broncos, a top 20 matchup. What have you seen so far from this game? I guess, what does Michigan need to do to take the lead going into the third quarter?
Well, you know, it's early in the season, but I like that you pointed out top 20 matchup, because I think in seasons past, especially last season, the Wolverines would be ranked as highly as they are now, number 4 against this number 16/17 Broncos, and the Wolverines would rely on the heavy hitters, the Kent Johnsons, the Luke Hughes, who we still have, the Wolverines still have, Owen Power, Matty Beniers, and the like, but they don't have that anymore. And so to take the lead and win this hockey game as we go in here now to this second period, I think we are going to want to see the Wolverines lean on some of their top scoring players like Adam Fantilli, Dylan Duke, and of course arguably their best player, Luke Hughes. But this Western Michigan team is not one to be messed with. They have a lot of veteran experience. They're an older roster, and they will not back down to a arguably more talented Wolverines roster.
Most definitely. As we get underway here in the second period, 1-1 is our score. 20 seconds into the second period, Wolverines going with the starting lineup on the floor right now. Number 11, Mackie Samoskevich fighting for it. Luke Hughes gets a steal, but we got an offsides call. Wolverines quickly with a lineup change. Western Michigan, the Broncos coming into this game, number 17 in the country, Michigan number 4 in the country. A lot of change in this Michigan hockey program, including a new head coach. In the interim, I should say, Brandon Naruto.
Yeah, really good point. This is not Mel's team anymore. That's for sure.
Most definitely, and it's weird to say that. But Ethan Edwards has the puck as he brings it up right to left. Wolverines attacking the Western Michigan offensive end. Broncos now have it. Here come the Broncos. It's Zach Lambos. Throws it around the net. The Wolverines net, I should say. Western Michigan gets a steal. Lambos now fighting with Ethan Edwards. Lambos gets lit up on the wall. Michigan gets the puck right back, though. Flicks it forward. Looking for number 13, TJ Hughes. Instead, Western Michigan will have it, as that is number 15 for the Broncos, Dylan Hilsendagger. Luke Hughes now bringing it up. Hughes loses control of the puck. Jacob Truscott now. Michigan loses it back. Very sloppy game early here.
Yeah,
in
that
Ann
was
Arbor.
a good interception, though, in the neutral zone by Hughes. Could have seen a breakaway for Western.
As Hughes just takes a slip and fall there. Michigan still has the puck. It's a Stoppa bringing it up. Stoppa goes right by number 18 for Western Michigan. Nolan Moyle now into the game for the Wolverines. Moyle fighting for it on the left wing. It's Jackson Halem who had the first goal for Michigan with it now.
Yeah, Stoppa's really improved his game since his last year, his freshman year. There was a bottleneck in the centers, if you remember. Of course, there was Matthew Beniers, but there was also Kent Johnson alongside John Beecher, who kind of played in the last line and competed with time for with Marcus Stoppa. But the sophomore centerman is really kind of playing a two-way game, not necessarily the most relied upon for getting those points or most intense offensive situations, but he is very reliable, and I'd say has come a long way in terms of how much trust he's getting from the coaching staff here in Ann Arbor.
Quick face-off in the Wolverines' defensive zone. Michigan gets it back here. As they look forward for Ethan Edwards, he's not able to get a stick on it. Here comes Sasson for Western Michigan. Yeah.
Or icing, sorry.
Ciccolini goes back for the Wolverines to number 26, Seamus Casey, he goes forward to McGrody. Up and over into the nets, and we'll have another face-off coming up.
Yeah, so not much to be said about the last 3 minutes and change, or almost 4 minutes so far. But, you know, early in the season, I still would say the trademark or the hallmark of, I would say, almost all Michigan sports is they're not going to turn it on in the beginning of the game. You see that with the football team, too. This is a midway point team, in my opinion. And that's not to say that they're bad until then, but I think they take their time to learn all the flaws of their opponents.
Sasson gets the puck, goes right down the rink there, and then has it deflected up and over Michigan's net into the netting, so we'll have yet another face-off coming in the Michigan defensive zone. It'll be number 19, Adam Fantilli from Michigan, number 34, Max Sasson.
Fantilli is a name you should remember for anyone listening. You will see him in the NHL in a couple of years.
Broncos lose control, and here is Fantilli, that guy that you were just speaking of. Fantilli now with a shot on goal, and he scores! 2-1. David Kraemer with a hell of a call here. My goodness, he just said that you need to watch out for this guy. Number 19, Adam Fantilli getting the second goal for the Michigan Wolverines, as it's now 2-1 here. David, how did you call that?
I should get a lottery ticket.
You really should. Please say the lottery numbers today.
Yeah, I certainly will. You know, there's a reason he's leading this team in points and is tied for goals. Adam Fantilli is deadly in a one-on-one situation, and even as a freshman, he's an incredibly talented and skilled offensive player.
As we're back in action here, Western Michigan will have to try to answer. They get a shot deflected over the netting.
Yes.
Again, the score is 2-1 here, 16:10 to go in the second period.
Yeah, so really filling in that Ken Johnson-Beniers role. Definitely feels a lot faster than both of those players. So I'd say that's one of the things I've noticed so far earlier in this season for the Wolverines. They're pretty fast. They may not be the fastest in college hockey, but it's exciting to see kind of the passes that they look to make because they have that speed and they know how to use it.
And speaking of the speed, it's Nolan Moyle racing forward for the Wolverines, battling with number 12 for Western Michigan, Cole Gallant. Now it's Estapa fighting with Granger for Western Michigan. Granger goes forward, but Michigan gets it back. It's Ethan Edwards. He goes up and around to number 26, who then finds Jackson Halem, who scored the first goal. He goes back. Estapa the shot on goal and saved.
Good save
by Cameron Rowe, right into the center of Rowe's chest there.
Yeah, as a goalie, you want to make yourself look big, and you'll come to the end of your crease and try and reduce that angle of attack for an offensive player, especially when they're kind of coming from the between both circles. But that's what they teach you when you're young, no matter what type of goalie you are, is to get a little aggressive and come out of your net.
It'll be a face-off in Michigan's offensive zone now. McGroarty fighting for it. We got a little stalemate going on with Brindley there too. From the Broncos. Western Michigan moves the puck quickly. It's Perbix, excuse me. Perbix now fires it around. A little hard to see up here in the booth. We got a post right in front of us. Eric Portillo gets his stick on it briefly. Quick slap shot from the back. No good, off to the left. Broncos still battling for it. Michigan now goes forward. It's Holt who tries to find, an open goal! My goodness, TJ Hughes. Wow. Cameron Rowe came out of his own net to try to get a stick on it. Not a good decision, clearly, as Michigan then had a wide open goal as it was deflected right into the feet of TJ Hughes.
I did not see that coming, but like we were talking about earlier, if you have the speed to make a goalie, to make a defenseman nervous by coming at him real quick, you can intercept that puck. You're gonna get those. I play when people play hockey. just pick up hockey. That's a cheese goal is what we call something you're going to want back as a goalie. And so getting those cheese goals, those forced errors, and capitalizing on those is something that you're really lucky to have in a team. It's something not every team can do. So really impressive. And 2 goals now in the past 4 or 5 minutes. May see a little bit more coming. Halloween at Yost tonight. A lot of good energy here in the crowd.
Speaking of energy, here comes Adam Fantilli. He scored the second goal. Fantilli with a great pass into, excuse me, I think that was, Dylan Duke is who it was, who went straight into Cameron Rowe, and the referees will call.
Yeah, you let that goal in, you give that up off of a sloppy play like that for Rowe, and then you get rushed and knocked into, you might be rattled. If you see any other goal, I mean, it kind of goes without saying almost. If there's another goal this period, I don't think Rowe's going to last.
And interestingly enough, Max Sasson gets called for a minor penalty.
Well,
I'm not exactly sure what that was for.
Slashing, I think so.
Slashing, okay.
Yeah, sticking up for your netminder after getting run or rushed. Down 2 goals, getting a little bit frustrated, especially only 5.5 minutes into this second period now. Wolverines, of course, are looking to score, but if the Broncos can stop this power play, they may still have some fight left in them afterwards.
Seamus Casey now, the defenseman for Michigan, a Truscott. He fired it forward, tried to find Brian Lee, missed him. The puck will go around to Eric Portillo, who leaves it for Casey. Casey calm and steady back there. He'll get the offense started. Truscott now.
Yeah, on the ice for the Broncos, their captain, Jason Poland, a senior from Holt, Michigan. It will be his responsibility largely for keeping this team in the game as a motivator.
Casey looks for the shot, goes wide. Great save by Rowe with his left leg.
Yeah,
the leaky puck goes out to Portillo.
You know, I always like to see the goalie get involved in these power plays. It's one of the few times that they're able to come in contact with the puck and kind of get involved in the game without there being any significant threat of a goal being scored against, and I'm sure they enjoy it as well.
Here comes Luke Hughes forward from the back. He fires a shot off wide right. Fantilli now with it.
He's got 1 goal. We'll look for more.
Hughes now from the right to Samskiewicz. With the shot off and by. Fantilli again. He takes his own right into the chest of Cameron Rowe. And for the meantime, Western Michigan staves off the danger of a 4th goal.
Yeah, 25 left in this penalty for number 34. Max Sasson, the first-line center for the Broncos. They kill this one. They've already killed 1 so far this game. He'll be really happy with that.
Face off in the defensive zone for Western Michigan. And goes back to Portillo, and now Luke Hughes has this. He'll race it past, I would say, the block end, but this year it's the 100th anniversary of Michigan hockey. Wolverines passing it around. Duke to Hughes. Hughes back to Fantilli. He lays it off for Samskiewicz. Mackie Samskiewicz takes a shot off left. And
I could have sworn that went into the net. Yeah, it looks like it did. Into the netting. Sorry, not the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no clue where the puck went there, but yep.
Seems like the ref lost it as well. Yeah, and good observation. It is 100 years of Michigan hockey, a storied franchise, and a team that is definitely looking to get back to their glory of the 90s and early 2000s with a couple of championships, or at least one back then. As we've really seen a resurgence in this program in terms of the talent and the recruiting that they've been able to build and develop.
Edwards has it for the Wolverines. He loses it to Perbix. Now Edwards still fighting with it, the New Jersey Devils draft pick. Moyle now. Wolverines and Broncos battling for it right by the boards. Larkin ends up with it for Western Michigan briefly. Puck still switching around. Now Western Michigan's Berger has it. He'll go back, skate around a little bit, trying to evade Moyle as he does. Good pass out wide. But Michigan gets it back. Ethan Edwards fires it forward and around the Western Michigan goal. We got a bouncing puck in the air.
Looks like some of the players lost it. That is a
Huge hit by Ethan Edwards.
kind of a scary hit, too. The Broncos player gets up.
Yeah, and he's clearly hurt.
That was really scary to see.
Michigan trying to continue passing around in their own zone here. Western Michigan now with it briefly. Michigan gets it right back.
These two teams do not like each other. Not necessarily the most storied, at least outside of Michigan, rivalry or kind of animosity, but an hour and a half's trip down 94. You don't have many friends in Kalamazoo.
A lot of hits on the boards, just as David said. And here comes number 4 from Michigan. Brindley was looking for a little end around. His defender unable to hold on to it. Broncos really struggling with possession. It seems like Michigan's had the puck for quite some time here.
Yeah, big change between the first and second period. A lot more domination. That's even without the power play for the Wolverines. The tone of the game definitely can change when you're down by more than just a goal, especially when you're away. But Wolverines will be in Kalamazoo.
Goodness, there are hits all over the place.
And that's a incoming penalty for the Wolverines. Power play for the Broncos now. That was, I'm going to say interference, but we'll see what the call on the ice is.
Yeah, they're holding on to.
Or a delayed hit. Let's see what the call is now. There is not a lot of friendship between these two teams.
As it'll be on Gavin Brindley.
Freshman. He's not too big, 5'9", 170. Compared to this Broncos team that sees a starting forward lineup almost.
And they're announcing that the play is under review.
Well,
the referees
Brindley is sitting in the penalty box.
Yeah. Once again, the score is 3-1 in favor of the Wolverines against Western Michigan here in Ann Arbor in Yost Ice Arena. 10:13 to go in the second period. David, what have we seen from the start of this second period? The Wolverines, it seems like, a lot more shots already. I mean, they're at 15 in total in the game in comparison to Western Michigan's 11.
Yeah. Something that I've noticed is there's been a lot more defensive breakdown for Western, which the Wolverines, of course, have capitalized. That second goal of this period especially, that really poor passing play between the netminder Rowe and a couple of his defensemen. Not necessarily the most intelligent play, but in the heat of the game, sometimes nerves will get the best out of you. I think also, too, you can't just put it all on lack of discipline for the Broncos. I'd say the Wolverines have definitely played a tighter offensive game and defensive game. You saw a lot of success in terms of the Wolverines' neutral zone play, defensively speaking, in the first period, and that's something that they kind of encountered an equal force, to say, from the Broncos. But now the Wolverines are really pulling out on both ends of the ice, and the Broncos, while they may have had less offensive success and opportunities in this second period, they also have played poorly in their defensive end. So the Wolverines are doing both things right, all things you would say.
And, you brought up a good point earlier, as it looks like the referees are going to give us a call.
Oh, tripping.
2 minutes tripping call.
Interesting that
Brindley.
Open ice knockout hit was a tripping call, and not
well, to be fair, he did get his legs, you could say.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He certainly did.
But yeah, as we'll have a face-off, Western Michigan will have a power play here. 2 minutes. Michigan will look to kill it. And David, I'll hold off from the question that I was going to ask you for a couple more minutes.
I won't blabber next break.
As here we go, the face-off underway, and Western Michigan has it back with Berger. Berger goes forward. Up to McAllister. Here's Poland. The shot out wide. Portillo gets a leg on it. Western Michigan now trying to pass around. Sasan loses it. Michigan has it. It's Adam Fantilli. He loses it to Perbix, who goes forward to Poland. Luke Hughes now in his own zone to Truscott. Truscott can't hold on to it. Rome back to Berger. Out right of McAllister. Berger now. Rome. Berger in the middle. They're playing a little passing it around. Portillo gets a save from Poland. Poland plays it out to Rome. Rome still with it. He goes back to Berger at the point. Rome out wide to McAllister. Looks for a shot. He takes one. Poland was there for the rebound, unable to get a shot off though. McAllister now. Goes back to Berger. McAllister from the left wing takes a shot on goal. Portillo gets a save. And back out to McAllister. It's going to be a long penalty kill here. 30 seconds left in the power play. McAllister. Another shot. Poland's there with a little volley from the stick over the goal. Berger looks for McAllister. He takes yet another straight into the chest of Portillo. My goodness, Eric Portillo was very busy right there.
Yeah, and being this second period, Wolverines on the far side aren't able to make an easy change when they're on the penalty kill, hemmed into their own defensive end, at least in this period. So, yeah, that was really good. That was really good. Wolverines were exhausted at the end of that play.
Yeah, line change for Michigan, as well as Western Michigan. Another face-off here. It'll be Marcus Stappa for the Wolverines. And number 16, Tim Washi for Western Michigan.
8.5 left in this period. 10 seconds left in this penalty kill.
Michigan trying to clear it out from their own zone. They will. That'll be the end of the power play.
Wow.
As Brindley will come back on.
That's discipline.
Very, very, very disciplined. Brindley gets a sub in. So Glamkos now fourth for Western Michigan. Granger fighting with number 63 Fantilli, Luca Fantilli that is. Wolverines lose control of the puck. It's number 22 from Michigan fighting for it. That's Philip Lapointe. Marcus Stappa has it now. He goes forward to Jackson Halem, who's left wide open. Halem looking for a second goal. Up and around the net, though.
Slips off his stick.
Broncos, here comes Western Michigan forward. Bauer with it. Luca Fantilli will try to shield for the puck. Does a great job of it as Brindley comes to his aid. They're fighting for it on the boards. Brindley now. Still some fighting going around in Michigan's zone. Wolverines have it back though. Keaton Pearson fires it forward into the stick of Cameron Rowe. He goes forward for Western Michigan. Michigan gets a steal. TJ Hughes now with it. Hughes looks for the shot out wide. Great save by Rowe with his leg. Michigan's first line is back on. Truscott has it. Truscott looks forward for McGordy. Hughes now tries to dump it off to Fantilli, unable to. Hughes gets it back though around the net. Hughes back to Luke Hughes.
Unrelated.
Luke Hughes with the shot. Wolverines had a screener and Dylan Duke. It didn't work out though. Truscott. He goes forward to TJ Hughes. TJ Hughes out wide, gets it back, looks for a shot saved by Cameron Rowe. Luke Hughes goes back to Ethan Edwards on. Edwards looking with the outside of his stick. He gets smacked in the wall by Washi.
They're putting the rinse cycle on this Broncos team. We're finally going to get a change after what seemed to be over a minute of defensive play. About 6 now left in this second period, by the way.
Broncos get a steal. It's Granger looking for a shot straight into the hand of Eric Portillo.
One-on-one.
With 5:49 to go in the second
Shuts him down. Really, really great save. A little bit of luck involved, but ton of talent too. And some nerves. See, you notice, of course, you're listening to the radio, so you can't see, but we'll describe it to you. Portillo does what we were talking about earlier, really gets aggressive and at the top of his point. So, Neal, about 10 minutes ago we were talking.
Yep.
Do you still remember what you wanted to say?
I do, yeah, because you mentioned earlier that, this Michigan team runs or skates out in space a lot. They have a lot more speed. I definitely agree with you because last year they had a lot of these short passes between guys like Owen Power, Luke Hughes, Kent Johnson, Matty Beniers, and so on. It was a lot of short passes last year. You didn't see a lot of transition game.
Yeah.
How about why has that changed this year? Is it just the sheer speed, and why does that help Michigan?
Oh, that's a really good question. Of course, there's been some personnel change, right? A lot of those players are gone. I also would notice that this team is a little bit smaller, too. Now, remember, not just Owen Power, but there's some pretty big players all across the ice. Matty Beniers, Kent Johnson, I'm blanking on his name, Golden Knights prospect, second-round pick. His father is a very famous agent. He's an incredible player. I'll do some research and get back to you, but I mean, the team is smaller and they are faster, and so also there are not as many kind of main guys, so to speak. And so there's a lot more offense by committee, which involves a little bit more creativity in addition to that speed, and so that helps them because they're up 3-1. So it makes them good.
Most definitely. They've shown a little bit of creativity today with that scoreline. Though Fulp has it for Western Michigan, gets a weak shot to Portillo's left glove. Just 8 seconds went off the clock there. 5:31 to go. 3-1 in the second period in favor of the Wolverines. And, this is a Michigan team that, like you said, has a lot to replace. This is a Wolverines team that made it all the way to the Frozen Four. But people forget Western Michigan was a game away from the Frozen Four just last year and did beat this Michigan team in Yost Ice Arena here. This is a good Western Michigan team, ranked 17 in the country.
Yeah, that was Brendan Brisson, by the way, who I was talking about.
Oh, yep.
And he's a fantastic player.
Western Michigan briefly with the shot. Portillo gets the legs down for the save. Broncos now. Berger takes a shot on goal. Portillo just barely deflects it over the net. Michigan now. Nolan Moyle didn't realize he had the puck. He goes out wide to Marcus Stappa. Fires forward to Western Michigan, though. Michigan then gets it back. Moyle tries just testing Rowe a little bit. So he had to come out of goal and get the Broncos offense set up.
Yeah, under 5 to go now in this second period. Wolverines somehow getting outshot.
Perbix goes forward to Portillo, who will come out of the net, fired around. Eventually, the Broncos get back. It's Larkin now on the right wing. Fighting all over the place.
Really
right
good
now
defense from Michigan.
A lot of possession changes here. Bauer fires it forward to Portillo. Portillo with a little pressure. Just dumps it off out wide. Now it's Brindley. He goes forward to Pearson. Makes his man almost fall down there. Pearson does. Fantilli, Luca Fantilli that is. He goes forward to TJ Hughes. Can't hold on to it. Hughes battles forward in the right wing. Gets a shot on goal.
Really
it's
clever.
Brindley. Ethan Edwards. Looks around for McGroarty. Dumps it off to TJ Hughes. Good bit of defense by the Broncos. Larkin ends up with it now. He'll try to race forward. Looked for Rome. Unable to find him, and we'll get icing.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, and for those listening who are maybe not as familiar with the game, when you ice the puck, and you're a defensive team, of course, you cannot change your players. Offensive team can, so it's not something you necessarily want to do all the time. Helps incentivize not icing the puck as well from a rules standpoint. So we got to stop out there. This is that shutdown, more defensive style third line for the Wolverines out there, but they're still a threat.
Michigan with a line change, and it's Philip Lapointe now. Looks forward. Luke Hughes ends up with it, tries to take a shot, saved by Rowe. Hughes loses the puck.
Hit.
Larkin had it briefly. Truscott fires it out. Michigan still trying to get a shot off here. They do, and it's saved by Rowe.
Wow.
It was Ciccolini with the shot. Rowe almost went into his own net there.
Yeah. That was a really good play. Really good save, too. Really good offensive. Stop saying really good. Incredible offensive and defensive awareness and puck presence from Rowe, Cameron Rowe, the netminder for Western. And you can tell that his experience at Wisconsin, also in the Big Ten, in addition to the conference play that Western gets every season, has prepared him for that. You have to be aware of where I mean, it's kind of obvious, but you have to know where the puck is and where it's going to go.
Just
as to be a successful netminder.
Just under 3 to go in the second period here. 3-1 still the score. Wolverines, Ethan Edwards will bring it up. He gets stolen, though, by Poland. Seamus Casey dealing with Sasan. Wolverines trying to skate it up. Dylan Duke tried to find a pass, ends up in the hands of McAllister. He goes to Poland. And then a shot by Sasan that is in the net. Okay, they did not turn on the light or anything.
Yeah.
But Sasan, wow, Western Michigan gets their second goal of this game.
That changes things.
A fantastic pass by Jason Poland to Max Sasan. And Eric Portillo really couldn't do anything. Sasan was wide open right in front of his own net. In front of Michigan's net.
That was a really good play, and it's kind of unexpected, at least given the tone of this second period. But they say a 2-goal lead is the worst lead in hockey.
Yeah. Well, and they say a 2-goal lead in hockey is the worst lead in all of sports. It'll be Luca Fantilli battling for it. Michigan zone. 3-2 now, the score in Ann Arbor. Jackson Halem fights for with Cameron Rowe. Got a stick on the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Wolverines going to pressure Rowe in the dying minutes of this second period. Just under 2 left to go in this game, or in this period.
Finds Moyle in the middle. Shot off wide right. Michigan looks for another shot from Moyle, unable to get it. Holtz now to Fantilli. Luca Fantilli. To Nolan Moyle, back to Holtz. Up forward, looking for Halem. Tried screening the goalie, unable to get anything to go there. Holtz, slap shot, no. Luca Fantilli will receive the pass from Portillo. He goes forward to McGroarty. Goes back to TJ Hughes, looks for the pass to Brindley, unable to make it. And here comes Western Michigan. It's Granger. Great speed from Granger. He goes back to number 2 for the Broncos. And then a shot into the goal.
Oh,
Western Michigan has it. They have tied this one up. It's Chad Hillebrand, number 10 for the Broncos. That's another one that I don't know how that even happened. Bauer had the initial shot for Western Michigan, and then it was deflected around. And then eventually they're saying, yep, it was Hillebrand with the goal.
Well, as we were talking about kind of the benefits of this speedy game that the Wolverines play, the drawbacks are you get caught lacking in the defensive zone, not many men back on the rush. This may not be a game against I'm forgetting right now the Boston colleges, right? The BUs, the BCs, the Denvers of college hockey, but this is Division I sports against a damn good Western Michigan team.
Yeah, number 17.
They're not going to miss that. They're not going to miss that shot.
3-3 now the score in Yost Ice Arena. Just under a minute to go. Michigan has the puck right back. Samskovich looking for a shot. He takes one and scores! What a goal by Mackie Samskovich. We're going back and forth here in Ann Arbor.
It's a shootout. It's an old Western shootout against Western Michigan. Back and forth, both sides of the ice. Well,
wow.
it's that speed. That's that willingness to take risks that you see.
Most certainly, and Mackie Samoskevich looked like he wanted it all the way. I mean, just held on the puck from the right wing all the way to the left, a little outside of the stick, flipper up into the left upper 90 net, and Cameron Rowe couldn't do anything about it. 4-3 now in favor of Michigan. With just 17 shots on goal, the Wolverines have 4 goals. How about that?
Wow. And we get another challenge.
Oh, wow. And they're in a challenge for offsides.
So, as we were saying in the first period, in the NHL, if the coach challenges a play or a goal, right? And it is unsuccessful, meaning the call on the ice stands, the team that calls for the challenge will get a penalty, and I believe they will lose their coach's challenge as well. I'll have to double check on that, but I'm certain that they get a penalty. Now in NCAA hockey, there's no penalty, so the coach is incentivized. You don't lose it. Coach is incentivized to just do it, and I think that kind of, there are some detractors of that rule, of that regulation, but I don't know. I think it adds an air of excitement that you never know what's going to stand.
And we certainly see that, just as you said, so far this game is we've already seen a couple, 2 or 3 challenge calls in the game. Again, Wolverines up 4-3. Western Michigan challenges the goal by Mackie Samoskevich, saying that he was offsides with 53.5 seconds left in this second period. And so very, very big call to make for the referees.
Certainly. I'll say there have been a lot of plays that the Wolverines have made, especially with those top 2 lines, that make me nervous, not just as a fan or as a commentator, but just as someone who thinks, wow, are they really getting away with that? They play on the edge. I think kind of a colloquial term is a cherry pick. You've seen that kind of style of play, not just in hockey, but in basketball, you'd say, with James Harden. Maybe lacking a little bit on the defensive end, waiting at the far side for that offensive opportunity. But
man, I tell you what, looking at these replays, the puck is right on the blue line, it looks like. And they say it is a good goal as it didn't pass the whole offsides line. Luke Hughes had just flicked it right as it hit the blue line.
That's awesome.
Forward to Mackie Samoskevich, who then just took it from the right wing to the left and then flips it with the outside of the stick. 4-3 is the score here in Ann Arbor.
Wow. You don't like that if you're Western Michigan. But the crowd, the student section, standing room only now, all dressed up in their Halloween costumes, is pumped up.
We will have a face-off in the middle of the rink here.
Yeah, just under a minute left now.
Yep, 53.5 seconds left in the second period. Western Michigan was also called for a minor.
Oh.
Number 25, I guess, for Western Michigan. And that's Jack Perbix. It'll be a power play for Michigan right after this goal, interestingly enough. Luke Hughes now to TJ Hughes. TJ Hughes takes it to his left, looks for a shot. Blocked by Western Michigan. Samoskevich now. He had the last goal for the Wolverines. Switched to Fantilli. Fantilli back to Hughes, who will try to reset for Michigan. Hughes flips it forward, stolen by Western Michigan, and just cleared to Dylan Duke. He goes forward to Luke Hughes, waiting at the offsides line. Has a shot deflected off right. Samoskevich, 8 seconds left now in this second period. We'll take it forward to Fantilli. They'll try to get one last shot. Fantilli takes it off wide right, and that's the end of the second period here in Yost Ice Arena. 4-3 is the score. Michigan lead. Number 4 Michigan, I should say, leads the number 17 Western Michigan Broncos in a game that has just been wishy-washy, back and forth, man. Michigan was up 3-1 earlier in this period. Western Michigan took that 2-goal deficit, turned it into a tie game, and then Michigan's number 11, Mackie Samoskevich, the sophomore out of Sandy Hook, Connecticut, gets the 4th goal to take the lead heading into the 3rd.
Yeah, so one more thing I'd want to say before we go into this next last intermission. did some searching, some research. The official regulation for the coaches challenge is on the first unsuccessful challenge. There is a timeout awarded. Well, technically, both teams receive a timeout, but there's a timeout awarded to the goal-scoring team, the team that did not make the challenge. Which is why we saw in the first period when that challenge occurred, there was no penalty. Now, any subsequent challenges that are unsuccessful result in a minor penalty for delay of game. So I stand corrected, folks. If you see any other unsuccessful challenges, that will result in a delay of game penalty for the Broncos. And if the Wolverines happen to make any unsuccessful challenges, that will just be a timeout and then, of course, a minor penalty, as I said before. So any final notes before we head into our second intermission?
Well, I was just going to ask you, but I mean, we have a very exciting third period to go here. I mean, what a crazy game. This has been a top 20 matchup here in NCAA hockey. And, you know, just as you said, Michigan loves to run out in pace. They love to try to find the through passes and so on, find their guys like Fantilli, Samoskevich, Dylan Duke, all forward and behind the defense. It's kind of worked out so far this game. But David, Louis, last question for you here. What does Michigan have to do in this last period to take this game home?
Add another goal or two, which I think they can. They're going in on the power play. We saw 2 unsuccessful power plays for the Wolverines, one in the first and one in this period, one more. And they're going in with, what, a minute, 7 seconds left?
Yeah.
Adding one more. I know we said 2-goal lead, worst lead in sports, but...
Well, but a 2-goal lead gets you closer to a 3-goal lead, so there you go.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my call, and I'll be stepping off to let Amer hop back on for this final period. So for those still listening, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Look forward to sharing more Michigan sports with you in the weeks and months to come.
Most definitely. Thank you so much, David. And yeah, we will head into a little bit of an 8-minute intermission before the third period gets underway. Thank you so much for listening to WCBN Sports, and make sure to stay tuned.
All right.
and welcome back to WCBN's coverage of Michigan hockey. Today we have the number 4 Michigan Wolverines up against the number 17 Western Michigan Broncos. The score is
able to get that goal, to cut it in half or even tie the game like they did in that third period. But, credit to the Wolverines to get that next goal, within, I think it was a minute or so. They got that goal to put them back up on top. So, you just got to play good, clean hockey, make sure those passes are crisp, and you'll finish it out.
We're underway here in the third period. Michigan with the power play, the last 45 seconds of the power play. Luke Hughes to Fantilli. Wolverines trying to pass it around, but Max Hassan gets a little bit of a steal. Portillo now goes to Hughes. He'll get it set. Michigan with only a couple more chances in this power play. 30 seconds left in the penalty. Fantilli to Samskovic. Mackie Samskovic had that 4th goal. He goes around to Dylan Duke. Back to Samskovic. To Hughes, 20 seconds in the power play. Western Michigan gets a steal and a breakaway goal could happen here. Granger on Portillo. What a shot off the post, no goal. What a move by Granger. Oh my goodness, and Michigan now with a 3v2. TJ Hughes out wide to Duke. Fantilli can't control it. That'll be the end of the power play. Western Michigan able to kill it as Perbix will come back on. Michigan gets a shot. Fantilli off wide right.
Man, Michigan.
Oh, and the deflection into the feet of Cameron Rowe. And now I'm not sure what the call was. I couldn't even see the puck, but we'll get a face-off, it looks like.
I have no idea how Western did not tie this game up. One-on-one with Eric Portillo. Gets Portillo to go the opposite way, and the puck just hits the post as they show replay up on Yost. Portillo was, gone to the other side, and then the puck hits the post, stays out of the net. Michigan's still up by 1.
Unbelievable move by Luke Granger, for sure. And we are back underway after the face-off. Perbix, who was just in that penalty, will flip it forward. Portillo has it. He goes around to Ethan Edwards, the Devils draft pick. Forward comes Brindley. Brindley tried to go out wide to McGroarty, but we'll have a call. I gotta be honest, I don't know what that call was either.
So it was offsides on Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Yep. Just a little bit too early, and that's one of those things you just cannot do, those silly mistakes where you get those offside calls and then you have a stoppage of play, face off outside of the blue line. You want to really control that puck and, minimize stopping the clock, because a 1-goal lead is not ideal. You'd obviously love 2, and the ideal lead is 3.
Yeah, Holtz now with it. Broncos get it back briefly. They just flick it forward, though. It'll go to the stick of Luca Fantilli, but it'll be icing instead. And so 4-3, still the score here in Yost Ice Arena. Michigan leads Western Michigan, 17:50 to go.
So you mentioned Luca Fantilli, and Adam Fantilli is getting all the attention. Luca is his brother, and he talked to the media earlier this week on Tuesday. He was asked which player does he hate going up against, which one gives him the most fear. He answered Adam Fantilli, his own brother.
A little brotherly rivalry. A shot off the post again. My goodness, Western Michigan with a great opportunity there.
Yeah, Eric Portillo has got to be thankful for those pipes behind him, keeping the puck out of the net. Otherwise, Western should honestly be up by a goal right now. They've come out playing really good hockey. Michigan really struggling to maintain possession of the puck, but Western is getting shots on net. They just cannot get it past Portillo.
Luke Hughes brings it up for Michigan. Goes all the way around to Seamus Casey. Casey tries putting a move on, loses it. Michigan gets it back, though. Brindley brings it up the left wing. Brindley looking for a shot on goal. He runs straight into Cameron Rowe, and that will be called all day long.
How about Brindley? He's been in quite a few scraps tonight as well. We had the one at the end of the first period down here on the near side to us behind Eric Portillo when him and the Western player were going at it. Both of them ended up getting a penalty, going to the penalty box to start the second. But, a scrappy freshman, Gavin Brindley.
Yeah, very young Michigan team. I mean, David and I talked about it in the second period, but they replaced a lot of personnel, a lot of new personnel onto this team. Brindley's certainly one of those guys. Seamus Casey now finds Brindley, looks for a shot. They had a screener on goal, unable to have it. Goes back to Ethan Edwards. Casey. Seamus Casey wiggling around on the right. He goes up and around to Ethan Edwards. Casey back to Brindley, can't control it. Here comes Poland for Western Michigan to McAllister. Flips it up and forward. Ethan Edwards has it back. Sasan gets it briefly as we go back and forth here with possession. Broncos now. Sasan looks for the shot, blocked. Broncos eventually get it back. It's McAllister now on the left wing. He goes to Sasan.
Yeah, Edwards is shaking up. He's on defense right now.
Yeah, something's wrong with Ethan Edwards.
They got to get him off the ice. I think he took a puck right below, like, you know, where there is no padding. He seems to be fine, but he's going to make his way out to the bench. Here comes Michigan.
And Adam Fantilli looks for the shot just off left. A good save by Cameron Rowe. The goal comes off of placement, though. Ethan Edwards comes off, and his teammates are all checking on him.
Yeah, Ethan Edwards, one of those, you know, I guess upperclassmen, if you want to call a sophomore an upperclassman. He saw, you know, some ice time last year, but, you know, him and other players like Mackie Samoskevich in their second year, you know, those role players that are going to be crucial for the development of these young Wolverines. Wolverines also, you know, they brought in a good recruiting class. You know, they lost a lot to the NHL, but they also gained a lot. It's unfortunate that Frank Nazar, we don't know if he'll play this year. It doesn't look like he will, but, you know, that's a blow to Michigan. But Adam Fantilli has really stepped into that role for the Wolverines, scoring 16 points in 6 games. You know, he got a goal in that second period.
Most definitely, and the Wolverines will look for another as it's a 1-goal lead here in Ann Arbor with 15-18 to go.
And the good thing is that Michigan still has Eric Portillo in net. You always want to have solid goaltending, especially when you have a young team.
Yeah, such a steady presence back there. Speaking of steady presence, it's Samoskevich. Looks for the shot. Great save by Cameron Rowe. Getting the right arm up. Luke Hughes now. Goes around the Big Ten logo. Hughes trying to find a pass. Instead it ends up back in Truscott's feet. We get a hit on the ice. And Portillo now will have the leaking puck out. It'll be an icing call instead. 14:43 to go. 4-3 still the score.
So Western Michigan in those first, I would say, 2.5 minutes, really came out with a lot of energy, putting a lot of pressure on Michigan, getting those opportunities. Should have had at least one of the goals, but, thankfully it hit the puck, hit the pipe, staying out. But right now it's kind of settled down. The referees will go to the box and do another review. They're probably going to review that the hit at center ice.
Yeah, I think it was, I could be wrong on this, but I thought it was number 27, Nolan Moyle, the graduate student for Michigan, but I guess we'll see eventually.
Yeah, I talked to Nolan Moyle as well on Tuesday, and he was one of those players. I asked him, I was like, so last year, you guys got a lot of heat for pulling out of the GLI for good reasons, and, Western said they circled this game, and his response was like, well, yeah, we circled it too. Like, we're ready to play them because, Kalamazoo right down I-94. A lot of these players know each other. Some of them grew up playing in the same leagues, and like these non-conference games, you want to beat your teammate, your friend. But when you're on the ice, you're not friends. But there's also like a recruiting game. Like, two teams that play so close to each other. You want to come out on top, whether you're Western Michigan or the Michigan Wolverines. But tomorrow night, they will make the trip down I-94 to Kalamazoo and play in a sold-out Lawson Arena. It's going to be a whiteout, so it'll be a hostile environment for the Wolverines to play in.
And we're getting a minor interference call on Nolan Moyle is who it was. It'll be a 2-minute penalty. And so Western Michigan will have a power play here to try to tie this thing up.
You asked coming into the third period, what does Michigan need to do to close this out? They can't give up penalties. They can't be on the power play kill but Western could not ask for anything better. All they got to do now is just put the puck in behind the net.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't that. Berger, after the face-off, Western Michigan will get it going here. McAllister to Sasan. Out wide to Rome. Sasan back to Berger. Berger to the shot off the post again. They're battling for it around the goal, and Portillo gets a glove on it just a few inches in front of the goal.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, Western Michigan has painted that goal and just can't get anything to go in this third period.
I mean, Western's pretty dang good at aiming because they've hit that exact post, that same spot, 3 times now. This time, the shot coming from the blue line, and then the puck just lands in Portillo's lap.
Wow, all you got to say. McAllister now looks for the shot. Saved briefly by Portillo. McAllister has it right back, though. Looks for the screener, Poland. And then eventually it ends up in Western Michigan's hands. That's number 20, Jamie Rome, getting the goal. Western Michigan has tied this game up at 4 apiece.
Broncos were knocking on the door, and then at some point you're just going to knock the door down and welcome yourself in as Western ties it up at 4. Same thing to the left of Eric Portillo, where the Broncos hit that post 3 times in a span of 6 minutes, less than 6 minutes. But then they get that goal to tie it up. So we're all tied up at 4, 14-14 left.
And it seemed like that was coming for a while. As Nolan Moyle will be on ice. Michigan briefly gets a shot, but Rowe will just put a glove on it. Nolan Moyle, though, got to be feeling, I don't want to say guilty for that goal. It wasn't his fault. But he gets the penalty that you can't have in this crucial third period in a 1-goal game, and now we're tied.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to give your opponent a power play, especially when, this whole period they've been dominating, getting shots on net, and then they finally get that one to go past Portillo and knot it up at 4.
We'll see. Speaking of Nolan Moyle, he's fighting for the puck right now on the boards. We'll see if he can try to make up for it. Truscott with a little slap shot on Rowe. It's saved out to Luke Hughes. Hughes now to Truscott. Jacob Truscott with it. Flips it around to Jackson Halem, who had the first goal, unable to have his shot on goal right there. As Michigan just fighting in Western Michigan's defensive zone. Broncos get the puck back, though, and here they go in the little transition, as we would say in basketball. Granger flips it around. Nothing doing there for Western. Michigan has it right back in their own zone. Estapa back to Truscott, to Marcus Estapa. Broncos end up with it. Went goes skating forward. Goes right into the back of Truscott. They're still battling for it in the corners. Shot on goal, saved by Portillo briefly. That was number 16. Another shot for Western Michigan straight into the legs of Portillo. Excuse me, actually that was number 15, Daniel Hilsendogger.
These next 2 minutes and 51 seconds are going to be really important for both teams because we have a stoppage after we're under the 10-minute mark. And right now, Western Michigan is, pressing really hard, to use another basketball term. And, they would love to get another goal, but Michigan just doing that bend, don't break type of mentality. Last couple of times when Western was able to score, Michigan answered right away. But right now, Western is doing it a little bit differently, controlling the puck a lot better than previous.
Yeah, Holtz has it. Goes forward, back to Holtz. Brindley, Gavin Brindley loses the puck. Michigan has it back with Holtz. He goes out wide to TJ Hughes, gets a little bit of a kick on it. Western Michigan ends up with it. Berger goes out wide to Fulp. He flicks it forward past his man, and Michigan's Pearson fires it for TJ Hughes now to Seamus Casey. Past the 100 years logo, and eventually, puck goes all the way around, it'll be an icing call. I tell you what, it's hard to see some of the action up here in this press box with this post right next to us, but Still 4-4. We got a little shoving, a little bit of extracurricular activity as these two do not like each other. Michigan, Western Michigan, 4-4 with 11:55 to go in the final third period.
Yeah, a couple of Western players were actually surprised that I got called for icing because they felt like their teammate had the edge on the Michigan guy. But, the referees decided to give it to Michigan. Face-off in the Western zone.
Fantilli with the shot over the goal. Ends up in Luke Hughes. Hughes goes forward to Dylan Duke. Tried finding Samoskevich for the shot, unable to take it. Hughes then takes a long-range shot. Dylan Duke was fighting for it right in front of Cameron Rowe and possibly got a stick to him as Western wasn't going to take too kindly to it.
Yeah, Cameron Rowe protecting his crease, keeping the Michigan players out of there. And then the Western players coming to the defense of their netminder. Looks like it was Dylan Duke in the crease.
Yeah, had a couple Galambos, being one of them for Western Michigan. Not taking too kindly to that, along with Jason Poland. So we'll have another face-off here in the Western Michigan zone. Number 94, Marcus Stappa, will go up against Granger for Western Michigan. Here's Truscott after the face-off. Goes back to TJ Hughes. Hughes can't hold on to it. Here comes Hillebrand. 4 for Western Michigan. But they lose it. Jackson Halem has it back. Here comes Nolan Moyle. To Estapa. Nice, solid little move to gain the edge there as we go into the boards here in the left corner. Estapa sends it back out to Pearson. He takes a shot. Rowe saves. Granger. For Jackson Halem, just gets a stick on it, and Cameron Rowe will have it. Decides not to put the glove on it, and we stay under play here. Another little kind of leaky puck is Eric Portillo didn't do a great job of passing that out. Here comes Samoskevich. Fires it forward, looking for Fantilli for the through pass, unable to get there. And Fantilli then takes down his defender, who then tries to kick it. Fantilli loses the stick, and here comes Western Michigan as we just go back and forth. My goodness. Pearson now for Michigan at the Big Ten logo. Goes to the right, shot on goal, Rowe saves. Adam Fantilli doing a lot of skating right now. Western Michigan will bring it up just past mid-rink. Larkin fighting with Ethan Edwards. He'll take it around Michigan's goal. And forward we have a deflection into the Western Michigan bench, and we'll have another face-off. 10:06 to go in the third period. 4-4.
6 seconds away from that stoppage. But now Michigan's got to get a good defensive play down here as the faceoff will be to the left of Portillo. It's just been a sloppy night for the Wolverines. They're lucky to be tied up. They're making mistakes that usually you don't see them make.
Oh, what a great pass forward. It's Rutger McGroarty with the breakaway, looking for the shot, saved by Rowe off to the left. What a save by Cameron Rowe. McGroarty looked like he was in there.
Fantastic opportunity, fantastic.
Michigan now on the defensive end. Washi was fighting for it for Western. Ends up in Holtz. And then eventually Jamie Rome just fires it forward to Eric Portillo. Wolverines will take it around with Seamus Casey. Deflection out to Luke Hughes. To TJ Hughes, not related. Here comes TJ Hughes, great move. Look for Luke Hughes, unable to connect. Broncos now bring it past that old, where the Block M logo used to be. Once again, it's the 100th anniversary of Michigan hockey. And eventually a shot straight into the chest for Eric Portillo. Nothing doing there as we'll have that break that Amer was speaking of. 9:10 to go, 4 apiece between Michigan and Western Michigan. So Amer, 9:10 to go. Western's tied this game up. A top 20 matchup. What does this mean for whoever comes out on top tonight? How big is this game going into tomorrow night?
We talked about it a little bit earlier about how these two teams play in such close proximity. They're recruiting the same guys. The biggest thing is obviously recruitment. Like, you want to get those guys to come into your program, and if Western can come into Yost and get a W, that's huge for the program. I mean, they had that extra edge with last year with Michigan not playing against them in the GLI. And then Michigan's just got to take care of business tonight. And if they could not play this type of hockey tomorrow at Lawson, they just cannot, because those fans are going to be rowdy all game long. And if Michigan's making these mistakes, I feel like Western will have that, extra burst of energy because they will have their fans backing them up. But, we got a 4-4 game, 9-10 left. Lots of shots, lots of opportunities. It's been back and forth. It's been really back and forth. And this is what you want to see when two teams that are in the top 25 play each other, and two teams that, play in the same state.
Yeah, and we certainly saw this last year. These two teams have been very competitive all the way since last year as they split their 2-game series last year. Western shocked Michigan when the Wolverines were #1 in the country. And then Western had that team that was 1 game away from the Frozen Four. Still here, Nolan Moyle has a breakaway. 1-on-1 with Cameron Rowe. Moyle gets a shot on goal, and it is a goal. With 9:02 to go, Nolan Moyle gives the Wolverines a 5-4 lead. Oh my goodness, what a great goal for Michigan.
The captain coming up huge for the Wolverines on the breakaway. Gets the puck past Cameron Rowe. Good defensive play by the Wolverines there. And then Nolan Moyle just takes it up ice, up over the shoulder of Cameron Rowe, giving the Wolverines a 1-goal lead, 5-4, 9:02 left. Children of Yost, they have a little bit of energy now.
Yeah, perfect upper 90s shot by Nolan Moyle gives the Wolverines the lead here. Here comes Michigan right after the face-off.
Now you got to play good defense because the Wolverines have struggled to play good defense tonight.
Dylan Duke just flicks it forward.
And
eventually Adam Fantilli has it. And that threat gets stopped briefly as the Broncos now, here they come with Granger. What a solid move. He goes back to Glamkos, who gets a shot on Portillo, saved. Fantilli comes back, delivers a hit on Glamkos. Granger now. Great bit of defense from Pearson. Hilsendogger gets lit up by Samoskevich as he's still on the ground. And then Wendt gets tripped up. No call, my goodness. Referees say play on. And Western Michigan has pulled their goalkeeper already. Bauer now brings it forward for the Broncos. 6 men forward for Western. Hilsendogger dumps it off to Perbix. Again, empty net for Western Michigan. We still have just under 8 to go. Went forward to Hilsendogger. Washi gets a shot. No. And then we get a call by the referees. Samoskevich will go to the penalty box here. It'll be a minor penalty, I believe.
Yeah, so Cameron Rowe going to the bench to give Western that extra skater for the delayed penalty on Mackie Samoskevich for slashing. So Western Michigan getting their second power play of the third period. Seems like Michigan's coaching staff is having some words with the referees. I don't believe you can challenge this. Maybe just making sure that, they're calling it both ways.
Yeah, I didn't see the hand raised by the referee, but it's a good point, though, Amir, that it was raised, and so Western, of course, able to take out that goalie without really much consequence. And so now the Broncos have a 2-minute power play. Down a goal, 7:44 to go. McAllister gets it started for Western. Rome back to Berger. McAllister now left wing. Tried playing it into Poland, unable to. Sasan back to Poland. Rings it around to McAllister. Poland. Out wide to Jamie Rome. Sasan. He's already scored a goal this game. He fires it forward into the middle. Portillo gets a stick on it. Back out to Berger. McAllister. Looks through for Jamie Rome. Unable to connect his Western. Max Sasan gets it back. Jamie Rome. It's just absolutely quiet in Yost right now. Berger, Rome, shot on goal, no. Another shot on goal, no. And then the shot taken, with a goal taken out by Max Hassan.
Yeah.
So 6:59 to go in this third period. Wolverines still lead at 5-4. We'll have a line change here.
I think even the fans in Yost are on edge because, you know, Western, they capitalized on their last power play. I'd kind of rather see them, you know, being rowdy, being loud, trying to help them out because, you know, like on football, like when it's a third down, like you want your crowd to be as loud as possible. Tomorrow, the Michigan State Spartans come to the big house, which will hopefully be a hostile environment.
Hopefully, indeed, with that blue out.
It's like a sick color rush. So Michigan State will be going all white, and the Wolverines will be going all blue.
Yeah. So Western just under a minute left in the power play. Michigan trying to kill it here. Broncos. Washi has it. He goes back to number 24, up to Granger. Glampos. Broncos passing around. Glampos with it. Back to Fulp. Out wide to Granger. Shot on goal over the net. Deflected. Glampos now 30 seconds left on the power play. Brindley will try to just clear this thing. Unable to. Granger flips it around to Glampos. Possibly one or two last chances. Broncos still passing it around. Unable to really get a shot on goal. Fulp now. He might take it. He doesn't. Glampos. He does. And it's just cleared for Michigan. Of course, no icing call on a power play. Wolverines get a line change. As 5 seconds are left on this power play, they've pretty much killed it.
Yeah, great
And
defensive.
they do.
Great defensive stance by the Wolverines.
Here comes Went. He goes forward to Larkin. Puck just kicked around briefly, and Jackson Halem just clears it for an icing call. 5:31 left in this top 20 matchup between the Wolverines of Michigan and the Broncos of Western Michigan in Ann Arbor. Amer, this is crunch time now. If you're Western, is there any specific thing you got to do to try to get that fifth pivotal goal?
Just keep continuing what you're doing. You got to get shots on net, and you also got to get those second and third rebound shots because it seems like Portillo is really struggling, you know, to go from side to side tonight, being bailed out by the post multiple times, 3 alone in the third period.
Halem goes up for to Rutger McGroarty. Broncos have it back. Western Michigan, Perbix skates it forward. He goes, loses it to Luke Hughes, to McGroarty. Nolan Moyle trying to attack on the counter here. Moyle flicks it up forward. Cameron Rowe gets a stick on it. Moyle, a huge hit as Nolan Moyle and the Western Michigan defender go down at the same time.
Yeah, Moyle almost stood up on his feet.
Man, they're still battling for it on the boards. It's still number 24, Aiden Fulp, and Nolan Moyle battling for it. The puck leaks out. Wolverines shot on goal. Casey goes wide left. Fulp flicks it around for the Broncos. Halem gets into the action. Michigan end around, tries to get a shot on goal. Rowe had it covered all the way through. Casey now out wide to Samoskevich. Samoskevich with the shot, saved by Rowe. Back out to Holtz. Casey again, another shot, screener, no. Dylan Duke looked for it, unable to have that one end up in the back of the net. Holtz. Samoskevich brings it up the right wing. Looks for a pass across the center. It doesn't connect though, as it was number 25, Dylan Duke, trying to get a shot off there, unable to. Under 4 to go, 5-4 still the score.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see how long Western keeps Cameron Rowe in net. We are under 4 minutes left in the third period. Obviously, it's not going to be right now when you're going on the power play kill. So first, you got to kill off this power play, and as soon as you kill that power play off, Cameron Rowe's heading to the bench, and you're getting that extra skater on the ice.
Yeah, and just as you said, Cedric Fiedler gets called as he was just trying to hook the Wolverines defenseman. And oh my goodness, Max Hassan has a breakaway. Western Michigan shot on goal, saved by Portillo off to the right with his leg.
Yeah, good kick save with his right foot to keep it to the side. You know, you're like, whoa, who's on the power play? Is it Michigan or Western?
Yeah, oh, great pass forward. LaPointe unable to hold on to it, though. Rowe comes out to clear it briefly. LaPointe still battling for it. 1:30 to go on this power play with 3:20 to go in the game. Truscott forward to Brindley. Goes out wide, shot deflected. Rutger McGroarty had it. Truscott to McGroarty. Tries to flick it around to Truscott. That's who it ends up in. Seamus Casey now. Tried going out back to McGroarty, unable to connect. Goes back to Truscott. Casey has it stolen. Sasan just tries to clear it briefly, unable to though. Seamus Casey.
The Wolverines were able to connect that pass to Rutger McGroarty. I feel like that's in the back of the net because he's on the far side of the netminder. And McGroarty just a one-timer, but cannot connect the final pass as Western just dumps it down. Portillo saves it, and both teams will head off for line changes.
2:30 to go in this game. 30 seconds left in the power play. Michigan trying to get that 6th pivotal goal here. Luke Hughes, great bit of slaloming. And Michigan eventually has a hold shot just trickle into Cameron Rowe's glove. 25 seconds on the power play, 2:20 to go.
Yeah, the Wolverines, you got to win this face-off deep in the Western zone. It's going to be to the left of Cameron Rowe. And I mean, with 25 seconds left on the power play, first thing, you win that face-off, then you control the puck. You want to get at least one good shot on there. You don't want to force anything, because if Western wins this puck, it's going down the ice, and then maybe you get one more attack before Western returns to full strength.
It'll be Mackie Samoskevich who tries to win the faceoff. He's unable to, though. Western trying to clear it. Poland tried to get a stick on it. Eventually, Sasan does. Now Poland. Still with it is Poland. And then gets it into Michigan zone. So job well done by Western.
Yeah, it's almost better that they were able to take even more time off the clock.
And eventually a steal. And Sasan has it. The power play is over. Max Sasan now with it. Looks for the pass. That could have been dangerous. Unable to connect, though. Luke Hughes brings it up. Fantilli will look for a shot. Oh, what a move by Adam Fantilli, making a miss. Jackson Halem now rings it around the goal. Goes back to Moyle. Shot on goal. Saved by Rowe. 1:37 to go.
So even though the Wolverines weren't able to capitalize, Adam Fantilli literally just saved the potential game-tying goal for Western. Not only does he get his stick in the way, not allowing Western to complete that final pass, then they take it down the ice, makes a sick move, passes off to a teammate.
Yeah.
This kid's going to be special, man. It's only October.
And if the save itself wasn't a highlight, that move sure was. He had his defender falling all over the place. What a move by Adam Fantilli, the freshman. Wolverines win the faceoff. Jackson Halem slips and falls. Western eventually gets it back. Just under 1:30 to go. They're not going to have too many more chances here. Truscott.
Yeah, Cameron Rowe is going to the bench, so the Broncos will have extra man.
Michigan still fighting for it. They take a shot on the empty net. It does not go. It goes left wide.
So deflection off the puck, so no icing on that one. 1:09 left.
McAllister now up the left wing. Hughes unable to hold on to it. McAllister now. Broncos getting a little frantic here. A minute to go in this game. Poland. Forward by Michigan to Fantilli. It's not going to be an icing. Fantilli takes a shot off behind the goal. 50 seconds to go. The Bronco falls down. That was Fulp. Broncos now. McAllister up the left. Still skating around Michigan's goal. He gets lit up. And now Western Michigan. Berger has it. Not too many opportunities left in this. Max Hassan to Wendt.
Got to get one opportunity. 25 seconds left.
Berger to Hassan. They got to get a shot off here. Oh, they had a solid pass. Unable to take the shot.
That's got to be a one-timer for Western.
Poland flips it around. Broncos look for the pass to McAllister. Back out to Berger. 8 seconds left. Berger takes a slap shot. No. Deflected by Michigan. That clock's running down, and I don't think they're going to get a shot off. That's it. Michigan survives an early season tester at home against number 17 Western Michigan. The number 4 Wolverines win it 5-4 at home in Yost Ice Arena in Ann Arbor.
man, those last 30 seconds, I felt pretty long even up here for us. You know, Western right here had the puck on the near side, going far to the other side, and pass intended for Ryan McAllister. If you're Western, you want to see him deal a one-timer. You don't want to see him trying to control the puck because, as you saw, he struggled to gain control of that puck, taking time off the clock, giving Western time, or Michigan time to, you know, switch to their side, play good defense, and then Michigan closes it out, securing the 5-4 victory over the Western Michigan Broncos.
Humongous win early in the year for this Michigan team that improves to 6-1 overall.
Yeah, a really good test tonight for the Wolverines, and, you know, playing a Western Michigan team. I think they'll be even tested even harder tomorrow. And, like, you know, Michigan did not play their best game of hockey tonight. Could that just be, you know, for whatever reason? Or you also got to give credit to Western, you know, for playing good hockey, coming into a hostile environment like Yost. But you better be ready for Western Michigan's A game tomorrow. They're playing in Lawson. They're going to have their fans behind them, and they want to beat the Wolverines because that's the last time they'll see them unless they see each other in the NCAA tournament, and you want to get that last win. Otherwise, you're going to have that sore taste in your mouth for a long time, and you don't know if you'll see Michigan again in this season.
And that was certainly the case last year between these two heavyweights as the Wolverines went 1-1 against Western in that season series. And, you know, again, Western last year, a game away from the Frozen Four. It's a good team. They'll have a great game tomorrow night in Lawson Ice Arena in Kalamazoo. Amer, any last thoughts on this one?
Be ready for Western's A game tomorrow. Like, you know, they suffer their third loss of the season, so, or first loss of the season, tying 2. So, you know, expect Western's A game. They're going to have that extra edge, and if you're Michigan, you really, really got to clean up the sloppy plays. Like, you know, or Portillo behind the net had a little bit of trouble with the puck, almost turning into a turnover where Western could not capitalize. But, you know, at the end of the day, the scoreboard says that Michigan won, and that's all that matters if you're in that Michigan dressing room.
Most definitely. The Wolverines will certainly take a gutty win like this today here in Yost. Make sure to be tuned in to Michigan hockey on WCBN in the future. Of course, the Western Michigan game tomorrow, and then the future with Penn State, a series coming up, Notre Dame, and then Minnesota back at home. Very big season, very interesting season for the Wolverines. We want to thank you all so very much for listening in to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan hockey. My name's Neal Sinha, along with Amer. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.